Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR. What's the most uncomfortable question you can ask someone? How come I wasn't invited? One time my entire class planned a movie outing and told me the wrong movie theater so I wouldn't come. There I was, 12 years old, left to watch a movie by myself, knowing everyone in my class hated me. It was a rough time. This broke my heart reading this. I hope those kids are grown-ups now that feel deep shame and remorse when they remember what they did to you. I did this sorta unintentionally in college. A school acquaintance was having a birthday party that night and I invited myself over because I was a college freshman and I didn't want to be left out of any parties. Turns out it was a more private affair with maybe 10 people. I felt awful about it, but she was just too nice to tell me no. I cringed so freaking hard. Yep, I did this at age 20. My mother had a full-blown wedding. I lived with her at the time. Everyone knew she was getting married except me, the one person who did everything for her. Aside from my stepdad, I literally paid more than half the bills to that house when I lived with her. My 5 other siblings knew. Even the dog knew. He was in a freaking suit. I literally came out of my bedroom in my work uniform and saw my mother leaving in a wedding dress. And a ton of family members all dressed in formal attire. Her excuse was because we're always working. This just made me emotional and angry all over again. Edit. Thanks for all the love, guys. Me and my mom always had a close relationship up until then. I moved out immediately and got my own place. I still communicate with her but I keep myself distant. Turns out the rent money I paid over time went to fund the wedding. I'm guessing you're not paying those bills anymore. Dog didn't even tell you. What kind of best friend is he? Also frick your mom. Oh crap, that is the harshest thing I've ever heard. So sorry. Made me emotional and angry too. Frick that. Last summer I got sent a picture of what looked to be a bunch of chairs set up outside from one of my really good college friends, with the caption, "When are you getting here? Can't wait to see you." I had no idea what she was talking about, so I said, where are you? She replied with, "What are you talking about? I'm at Becca's wedding." Becca was like my closest friend for years and I had no idea she was getting married. That crap freaking stung for me. And that doesn't even compare to this. I have a funny, similar, but happier story. I was hospitalized for a little over a week in college getting morphine consistently. I finally got back to college, and I heard so many rumblings of getting invited to one of my best friend's wedding. It's been weeks and I didn't get an invite. I was so freaking mad at him. He finally pulled me aside and said, "Are you mad at me for not sending you an invite? I asked you 3 times for an address. In fact, yours is still in my apartment waiting to be sent out." I went through my texts and sure enough, I was just so drugged out on morphine that I had no memory of his texts. LMAO. For extra cringe, ask this in a loud voice as you crash an ongoing party that you were not invited to. Bonus points if you start hyperventilate crying. Why is she here? Point at dog. When I was like 11 I actually did this. I had no idea why I wasn't invited and I convinced my parents that I was. I got dropped off, and actually started crying midway through because I was just wondering why I wasn't invited. I was not a good 11-year-old. 11's a freaky age. You wanna watch cartoons but also wanna dry hump. See? I wanted to dry hump cartoons. You set off a memory of being 14/15 and discovering my friends had a sleepover and they hadn't invited me. I was crushed. They did say it was because they thought my mum wouldn't let me go. Which would have been true, but my poor teenage brain went straight to "you're a loser. No one wants you" mode. Unfortunately my mind says the same thing. But it's okay. People will want you and you will be best person ever. DD. Unfortunately my mind never left this phase. In high school, this one kid in my circle of friends had a party and literally invited every other person we were friends with, but he didn't like me so I wasn't invited. It was a beautiful Friday night in the springtime, and it was perfect weather to go out and do stuff. But I had nobody to hang out with because they were all there. On Monday, I straight up asked him, "Hey, if you're not going to invite me to something next time, can you at least leave me someone to hang out with?" I don't know how that made me look, but at that point I didn't care. I once called my mom to chat, and when I asked what she was up to, she said that my brother was over. making dinner for my sister for her birthday. I was slightly stung that I wasn't included, but I figured that they were keeping it small, just my brother, sister, and parents. It gradually came out that our 2 other siblings were there, and my nephews, and my nephew's girlfriend, but at no point did my mom suggest that I should come over too. So I sat in my apartment alone and watched Friends. The weird thing is, I don't have a bad relationship with my family. They usually include me in things. I don't have much in common with most of them. They're cool, and I'm pretty dorky. They're into guns and I'm not. But we get along and are fond of each other. That's a crappy thing to do. I found out through Snapchat that my sister threw a New Year's party and invited everyone except me. Did the same for her 40th. Confirmed she doesn't want me in her life. Guess who's not being invited to my wedding? Me. You can come to my divorce if you want. Brew. I got a "what are you doing here?" from 2 guests at a party that was at my own house. Granted I didn't throw the party, but it sucks seeing 2 friends from class show up at your sister's party, not realizing it's your house and them being surprised and irritated that I was there. That's so mean. I would just say, I was invited. Edit. Wow, thanks for all the upvotes, smiley face. Goddamn buttholes those girls. Ugh, skeptical smiley face. Those are probably the girls that look like a Tupperware container after just having spaghetti in it. Weren't you pregnant? Edit. I seem to have struck a chord here. If I could give y'all a hug, I would. I ran into someone I hadn't seen since she was pregnant. Me. How's being a mom? Her. Oh, I'm not. Edit. I'll never ask again. Edit 2. Hope all the parents who endured miscarriages and stillborn are in a better place now. I miscarried a few months ago shortly after telling everyone, and now it's an awkward conversation every time I see someone who knew when I'm out drinking. Ugh. My best friend had a miscarriage. A bad one. The twins were born too prematurely and passed away. I hope nobody said this to her. If they did, I would have pounded them. Once at a gathering, a friend whispered to me later, "Wasn't she pregnant last time I saw her? What happened?" And I told him. Luckily he didn't say it to her face. Something like this happened to me. A girl I worked with was pregnant and ended up taking leave just before giving birth. Several months later she was back at work part-time and she seemed totally normal. So I wanted to be nice and said something like, "Hey, there's the new mom. Great to see you again. Super happy for you. How's the baby doing?" A dude I worked with was behind her and saw us talking and started waving his hands while silently mouthing, "Oh god no, stop," sort of stuff, but it was way too late. She said she lost the baby due to miscarriage. Oh, whoops. I will never ask anyone that question again. I had zero clue it happened and nobody had mentioned a thing about it when she came back. I felt terrible about it. A girl I work with was pregnant. She carried the baby full term and it was stillborn. All of us have been informed about it. The entire company. By her wish though. To avoid situations like that, I was very happy for her when she had a healthy baby a year or so later. While I think people's medical issues should be kept private out of respect for the person, since most people do want that privacy. In this case I'm glad everybody was told so she was spared that pain. I would personally hate for everyone in the company to know about such an intimate and horrible thing I went through, but I can also see the appeal of not having to have those out of the blue reminders of the loss. I'm really happy to hear she got the baby she wanted. It can't replace the baby she lost, but she deserves that happiness. I think in general when someone passes away, and one of their loved ones tells you, it is considered appropriate to ask something along the lines of, more delicately, "But, want me to tell our friend group about this? So you don't have to have this conversation 20 times. Quote. Where's my hug? Oh my god, I friggin' hate this one. I'll hug you if I want to hug you, but no forced hugs please. Oh god this. Lol, this gives me some flashbacks. After work on a Friday I was saying goodbye to one of my friends and I gave her a hug. Here comes Brett, "Hey, where's my hug?" So I give him the biggest bear hug. The kind that traps their arms at their sides, and picked him up off the ground. "There's your hug, Brett." My friend said he didn't ask much after that. But you bet your balls I'd tell Brett, "Hey Brett, I got your hug right here buddy." With outstretched arms he would give me an uncomfortable look like, "EW gross. Yeah Brett, that's how you are making everyone feel." As a woman I very much appreciate this response. I asked my then boyfriend this question when I was 19. He immediately looked shocked, looked over to the side, said, "Oh, there it is," went over and hugged the air, then came back and hugged me. This is going to be particularly hard to do with my imaginary girlfriend. And non-pregnant women, how far along she is. This happened to a friend I used to work with. Both she and I had both gained a decent amount of weight from eating out too often and a high-stress job. However, she was married and I was single. We were both getting coffee in the kitchen, when another co-worker came up and congratulated her on her pregnancy. Completely innocently, my friend awkwardly laughed it off and said she wasn't pregnant. As soon as the co-worker left, she burst into tears. She went home early that day. That single question changed what she ate in front of others and how she dressed at work for the rest of the time we work together. There's a girl that goes to my gym. We interact a bit. I noticed that she looked pregnant but was too scared to ask, but it seemed not nice to inquire. I finally got up the courage to ask and she laughed and said yes. She laughed even more when she saw the relief on my face. You have to be subtle about it if you aren't sure. You. So when are you expecting? Her. I'm not pregnant. You. This coronavirus thing to die down? Crazy times. Her. If you're good friends, they will tell you they're pregnant when they are ready. If you're not good friends, you should never ask. Really. The potential to hurt someone is way bigger than the benefit, which is usually, oh, just making conversation. This goes double for the workplace. Or the answer is even worse than no. Yes, I'm pregnant but it's growing without a brain, so I have a D&E scheduled for next month. Thanks for asking. Or they miscarried and are still working out the post-pregnancy situation. Ding ding. I have 2 Sarahs at my work. I heard one was pregnant. I congratulated the fatter women, who was just fat. Oh no. Oh yeah. It probably doesn't help that you refer to her in the plural. What? There's only one of you in that dress. Sheesh. Why does everyone hate you so much? I ask myself the same thing. I hate this one so much. I lived in a small town so everybody knew everybody. High school was rough. I didn't know how to stick up for myself and soon became the scapegoat for bullies and rumors. Once our senior year hit, people matured a little and started being nicer to me. I made a lot of friends suddenly and all of them would ask, why does everybody hate you or not? Like they say, it was awkward because most of those people were the ones contributing to the rumors, bullying. I don't know. Why did you? God, I wish I could go back in time and ask a few people that. If you come in the back office with me right now, just you and me, are you gonna be cool about it? Or be a snitch? Asked by my old boss at a grocery store. He just was offering me shots of Fireball because it was almost closing time on New Year's Eve. But that phrasing. Damn, I thought he was gonna ask you to let him suck your dick. Sounded kinda fishy. Sounded super fishy. At a job interview, do I have to do a drug test? You do now. I actually asked this question once and I was told, if we tested everybody we wouldn't have enough employees. LMAO. Circa 2005. But not my story personally. This is paraphrased heavily from years of interview WTF's conversations. Dude, this is Silicon Valley. The company founders are at Burning Man this week, as are all the other acid heads, kinksters, stoners, some of the furries, and the guy who did the photos of half-naked firepoi dances you can see on the wall over there. You're talking to the soberest person in the building except the 2 guys who are in AA. And even I've got my MMJ card. Don't tell HR I said any of that. I mean, they're freaks too, but they'd be weirded out that it came up at all. TL. Doctor. West Coast, Best Coast. That's the sorta under-the-table crap I have at my current work. I work at a film studio, and when everyone clocks off they turn into animals. Have you seen our toothbrush? Edit. Christ, this blew up. Thank you all for the silver, gold. When are you going to get married, have kids? Thanks for watching LWIAR. The best of recent r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out LWIAR too. And don't forget to like and subscribe.